Tonight's story, Strychnine in the Soup, tells how a young interior decorator won the hand of the girl he loved against all the odds. But not without a little dirty work behind the scenes.
More than an inch, and you're dead.
How dare you, a mere butler?
No butler, Lady Fay. Inspector Loomis of the yard at your service.
Inspector? Then you know.
What was that? It came from upstairs.
Nothing. The wind in the trees. A car backfiring.
I think not.
You mean, Inspector?
Not Inspector. The grey phantom has struck again.
I say,
I beg your pardon?
I wonder if I might have it back if you're finished with it.
What?
My arm.
Oh, I'm most awfully sorry.
Well, he'll be all right, only glad it was conveniently to hand, as it were.
I do hope I didn't hurt you too much.
Not at all. I'm sure a little alcoholic refreshment would soon restore the tissues. Perhaps I could interest you in a cocktail.
That's very kind of you. My name's Amelia Bassett, by the way.
Cyril Mullen. 2 Manhattans, please.
No Manhattans, dear.
Actually, you're obviously fond of thrillers.
Oh, yes, plays and books.
Books? Me, too. You haven't read Blood on the Banisters, have you?
Yes! Oh, I thought it was so much better than Severed Throats.
So did I mean, crisper murders, better clues, better in every respect. Two Bronxes, please.
No Bronxes, dear.
What about this play? Who do you think is the Grey Phantom?
Well, of course, it's always worthwhile keeping one's eye on the butler.
But the butler's a detective.
He says he is.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, like the bogus police chief in Gore by the Gallon, who turned out to be the high priest of that strange oriental cult.
Exactly. 2 green goddesses, please.
No green goddesses, dear.
Whiskey, please.
Straight away, sir.
Actually, it's worthwhile keeping your eye on that Carraway character. He's not all that he seems. These silly-ass characters in monocles nearly always turn out to be homicidal maniacs in Edgar Wallace thrillers.
Your whiskey, sir.
Thank you.
2 sidecars, please.
No sidecars, dear.
Actually, I once shook hands with Edgar Wallace.
Did you really? Gosh, could I shake your hand?
You're here alone, are you?
No, I'm with Mother. She stepped out for a breath of fresh air. She's Lady Maud Bassett, you know.
Well, the name seems familiar.
Yes, she's quite a famous explorer and big game hunter. She enjoys tramping through jungles, that sort of thing. I say, if she should find us talking, do you think you could say that we met at the Polterwoods?
Yes, of course, quite understandable.
You see, it's just that she doesn't like me to talk to people without a formal introduction. And when Mother doesn't like people, she's so apt to hit them on the head with some blunt instrument.
See, rather like the human ape in Corpses Galore. Look, could I have two white ladies, please?
Mr. Mulliner, could I ask you something?
Yes.
If you're a millionaire with a guilty secret, would you rather be found with your throat cut in a locked study with no footprints in the snow outside, or just plain dead without a mark on you, staring with a blank expression at some appalling sight?
Strange you should mention appalling sight, because somebody's walked in looking exactly like Wallace Beery in an evening gown.
Oh, Mother, there you are. Mother, this is Mr. Mulliner.
Ah. A friend of yours, Amelia.
Yes, we met at the Underwoods.
The Polterwoods.
The Underpolterwoods, of course, yes. We keep meeting.
You know, Mr. Mulliner's a little like the chief of the Lower Issy. Though, of course, he was darker and had a ring through his nose. You have no family in that area, Mr. Mulliner?
I think not, Lady Bassett.
A dear good fellow he was, but inclined to become familiar under the influence of trade gin. I shot him in the leg.
I see.
Why? He was not behaving like a gentleman.
I imagine after taking your treatment, he could have written a book on etiquette.
I believe he did. And what is your line, Mr. Mulliner?
Well, I'm an interior decorator.
An interior decorator? Ah, You mount animal heads.
Well, I have done in
You
my
must
time.
come and call on us some afternoon. If you're interested in man-eating pumas, I can show you some very fine heads.
Well, it's very kind of you, Lady Bassett. I'd love to call in, and if you're interested in cretonne, I can show you some fabulous patterns.
Cretonne?
Mother, there's the bell for the second act.
Oh, we've time for a drink. Couldn't get an Ngombe stinger here, I suppose.
I don't even know what a Ngombe stinger is.
Very popular around the Limpopo. Fermented coconut milk with just a dash of curare and a twist of tapioca root. No? Better make it a Tacaradi torpedo.
Well, I'm trying, but I don't think there's any...
One Tacaradi torpedo.
Thank you.
Say, Miss... Miss, I wonder if,
Oh, sweetheart, don't look so unhappy.
Well, how do you expect me to look? I seem to have spent the last 3 months in this Lion's tea shop.
Yes, I'm sorry you're not made welcome at home, but I truly don't mind meeting her, really.
Well, I do. 2 teas, please. Miss, could I... 2 tea. Why do we have to go on meeting like this? Why can't we just get married?
Well, there's nothing I'd like better, but you know Mother will never give her consent.
I just have to be firm. And a scone, please. I'll pop down there tomorrow and see if I can get her to change her opinion.
Oh, so, sweetheart, you can't. We're going to Berkeley Towers this afternoon on a visit to the Winghams.
Oh, well, that's fine. I've got a standing invitation with the Winghams. I'll pop up there this evening, give your mother the old banana oil, and when the moment comes, shoot her the news.
But you're so diffident, Cyril. So shy and retiring. Are you sure you're up to it?
Love will nerve me.
Enough, do you think?
2 more teas, please.
Oh, Cyril, I must go now. I have to pack. Good luck, and think of me every minute we're apart.
Every single minute. Well, practically every single minute, because I've just bought Slingsby's latest, Strychnine the soup. And I'll be dipping into that now and again. Have you bought it, by the way?
Oh, yes, we've got a copy, but Mother's reading it first, of course.
Yes, of course. All right, sweetheart. Well, I'll see you this evening. I'll have a go at your mother then. Don't worry. I can assert myself.
Well, you can't come in here just to get warm, you know. You're supposed to order something.
What?
Oh, exactly. The food's a bit deep. You know, for the delicate stomach. Once you've got... Evening, Lady Wingham.
Oh, Cyril.
Glad you could get down, Cyril.
Nice to see you again, Smallclaw.
You're always welcome, Cyril. It's just a small party, as you see.
Yes, indeed. Ah, fine. Who's that talking to Lady Bassett?
Oh, that's Mum.
Yes, I know. Who's that talking to her?
No, his name's Mum. Lester Mum. It's spelt Maple Durham, pronounced Mum. He's a fellow hunter, you know. They should get on very well together.
Yes. Yes, I dare say.
Now, do you know Mr. and Mrs. Simpson?
Oh. Hello.
This is Cyril Mulliner.
How do you do?
Mr. Simpson's in cement.
Hope it's not too uncomfortable.
Jolly good.
Excuse me a second. Hello, Amelia.
Hello, Cyril. I'm afraid something rather awkward's cropped up. He's talking to Mother on the terrace.
Lester Maple Durham, Mum, eh?
Yes. You see, Lester's admired me in a sort of strong, silent way for ages. And, well, now he's stopped being silent about it. And he's impressing Mother no end. I've got a feeling he's working up to asking for my hand. So I do advise you to get in with her rather quickly.
Straight away, I mean just like that?
Perhaps a good stiff drink might help.
You know, my doctors always advise against overindulging in alcoholic stimulants.
Well, I really think you ought to fuel up a little if you're going to tackle her. Look over there.
Oh, fine.
There we are.
Thank you.
Now just drink that up like a little soldier, and we'll soon have the courage bubbling in your veins, like the cyanide in the vat of the demon doctor in Deadly Doings in Dudley Ruins.
Amelia, my dear, your mother's asking for you.
Oh, all right, Lester. This is Mr. Mulliner.
Oh, yes, the interior decorator, eh?
Yes.
May I take your glass, sir?
Thank you very much.
Everything all right, Cyril?
Yes, indeed. Could I take your glass, please, Lady Wingham?
Oh, how kind.
Lady Wingham, I have wronged that woman.
Lady Bassett? But how?
On first acquaintance. I said she reminded me of Wallace Beery.
That was wrong, Cyril.
Yes, I can see my mistake now. I was thinking of Jack Dempsey.
Yes. Dinner won't be long.
Oh, yes. Ah. Thank you.
Can I take that tray, sir?
Yes, well, I'll do you a swap. Cheers.
Hello again.
Hello. Thank you. Mum, indeed.
I beg your pardon?
Bingley, isn't it?
Simpson.
Exactly, Bingley. And my name is Mulliner. There's spelled Mulliner and pronounced. And let them make the most of it.
Who?
Pardon?
Who?
I can't remember. It's about immaterial, not germane to the issue. The fact of the matter is, Bingley, my heart is heavy.
You don't say.
I do say. Heavy, hearty. My Bingley's heavy. Looking at what I see before me as I sit here, looking at what my heart is Bingley.
Dinner is
Oh, that's more like it. You'll enjoy this, Bingley, because they keep a good cellar here. And what's more, it's got bottles in it.
Come along, darling.
All right, I say, who's your friend?
This is Mrs. Simpson.
Oh. Really? What's Mr. Simpson going to say about that? Come on, my old cock, I'll take you in. I simply say, Lady Bassett or no Lady Bassett, if she tries to put on any dog with me, I shall know what to do about it. Thank you. I make no threats, you understand. I shall simply state that I shall know what to do about it.
Very good, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh, Cyril, where have you been? It's so late.
Oh, hello. Yes. Well, I admit we were a bit slow on the port and brandy, and the Benedictine, and the Chartreuse and the Drambuie and the Grand Marnier. Where is everybody?
Everyone's gone to bed.
No, not everybody, because just I had a very interesting discussion on theology with one of the footmen. I'm quite ready to face your mother, wherever she is.
I've told you, Cyril, she's gone to bed. Besides, I'm afraid it may be too late. She and Lester got into conversation after dinner, and they really were getting on awfully well together. They were discussing the everyday problems of explorers.
Problems? How do you mean?
Well, I'll tell you one, just to give you an example of what you're up against.
Yeah.
Now, just suppose that you are crossing a rude bridge over a stream in equatorial Africa.
A rude bridge, fine.
You're
right.
walking along, thinking of this and that, dreaming away, when suddenly, above you in the branches of a tree, you notice a python with its fangs poised, ready to strike.
A bison in a tree, fine, yeah.
Yes. At the same time, at one end of the bridge are two headhunters.
There's two headhunters down there, is there?
Yes,
You'll
two.
call them Pat and Mike, will you?
Very well, yes. Pat and Mike,
Pat, yeah?
with poison blowpipes to their lips. And at the other end is a puma crouched, ready to spring. Meanwhile,
puma down
below
there.
in the water is an alligator lying in wait for you. Now, what would you do?
Well, I should feel embarrassed. I wouldn't know where to look.
But Lester would, Cyril, that's the whole point. And Lester would know what to do. He would simply drop from the bridge, wait for the alligator to make its rush, insert a stout stick between its jaws, kick it in the nose with his boot, being careful to avoid his lashing tail, and then gently float downstream till he could arrive at some safer spot.
That's an everyday problem, is it?
It is for explorers, and the sort of man who can solve it is the sort of man my mother wants me to marry.
Well, I better go and beard her in her den. Which particular den have they put her in?
The Rose Room.
The
but
Rose
Cyril,
Room, tally ho!
Cyril, please don't make a row.
Right, I won't make her. I'll simply tap on her door with the gentle persuasion of the faceless fiend in the Moat Graden's horror.
Go away!
Thank you. Well, Lady Bess, I'm blown. Lady Bess, what do you mean by pinching my book?
What are you doing in my room, Mr. Mulliner?
It's a bit hard, isn't it? I go to an enormous expense to buy detective novels, and the moment my back is turned, people go around pinching them.
That book belongs to my daughter, Amelia.
Amelia, good old Amelia, one of the best.
I borrowed it to read on the train. Now, will you kindly tell me what you're doing in my room?
Of course, she told me you'd borrowed it. I tell you something else which clears you entirely. I was on my way down in the train. I missed my station, and I had to jump out of the train a bit sharpish. Left it on there. But I can only apologise.
You can not only apologize, you can also tell me what you're doing in my room.
You might well ask.
I have asked 3 times. Mr. Mulliner, if you're proposing to sleep here, tell me, and I shall know what to do about it.
You'll know what to do about it, will you? Lady Bassett, you are, I believe, a bit of an explorer. You've travelled many a jungle in many a distant land.
I have.
Tell me, Lady Bassett, while making a pest of yourself to the denizens of these jungles, have you noticed one thing? I refer to the fact that love is everywhere. Yes, even in the jungle, weaving its spell on every living thing, so no matter whether the traveller be a Congo native, an American songwriter, an armadillo or a jaguar, a bespoke tailor or a tsetse fly, he infallibly seeks his mate. So why shouldn't an interior decorator and designer of ornamental gardens? I put this to you, Lady Bassett. My old licorice all sorts.
Mr. Mulliner, your blotto.
This little piggy went to market. Blotto I may be, Lady Bassett, but I tell you something you can't argue with. I love Amelia.
What did you say?
When?
Did I hear you say Amelia?
Yes, she's medium height, blue-eyed, about as she Girls, you must have seen her. I'll tell you something else, Mrs. Whatever your name is. Just a minute, I'll put that out here. Listen, we intend to get married if I can get her mother's consent. Speaking as a friend of the family, sir. What would you say the chances were?
Very slight, seeing that I am Amelia's mother.
You're a mother, are you? Of course you. I didn't recognize you with the parachute on. You been there all the time?
I have.
What are you doing in my bed?
This is not your bed.
Well, whose is it then?
Mine.
It all seems very funny to me. I suppose I must believe your story, but I must tell you, I intend to institute the very highest proceedings. I may also add that I happen to know the ringleaders. I shall wish you a very good night. I shall now wish you another good night.
What did you say?
Oh, hello, Amelia. There, we're just talking about you. Me and,
Mother!
That's a fella. Mm.
Well, what did she say?
Oh, this and that. She seemed to be confused. Couldn't call you to mind straight away. Had to jog her memory a bit.
What did she say about our getting married?
Ah, yes, I'm sure that cropped up. But she kept going off on a tangent, trying to start an ugly scene about my bed. It's all right, I'll pin her down.
Oh, Cyril, do you think you should?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Clear the points up, then we'll know exactly where we are. I say...
Have you no bedroom of your own, Mr. Mulliner?
Oh, yes, thanks very much. I found one for myself. Yeah. But listen, I just popped in because I wanted to... Did you say I might or mightn't?
Might or mightn't what?
I'll marry Amelia.
No, you may not.
Not?
Not.
Fine. Toodle pip.
Well?
No go, I'm afraid.
No go, oh, Cyril.
And that's not the only disappointment. I just remembered I've left my copy of Strychnine in a soup on the train. I've got to find out what happens next. I just got to the bit where Inspector Mould looks through the half-open cellar door, withdraws his breath and recoils in horror.
Oh, yes. When a Slingsby detective withdraws his breath and recoils in horror, there's bound to be at least a dismembered corpse.
Exactly.
Oh, what a pity we can't ask Mother to lend you our copy.
Mother, what a brilliant idea. Yeah, and she must be asleep by now because, look, there's no light on underneath the door. I'll just pop in and pinch it.
Cyril?
Am I not to have a moment of privacy, Mr. Mulliner?
What are you doing out there, Lady Bassett?
I was chasing a bat out. Rather more to the point, what are you doing in here? I am, I trust, a broad-minded woman, but I cannot approve of this idea of communal bedrooms. Lady Wingham told me this room was supposed to be haunted. Had I known it was haunted by you, Mr. Mulliner, I should have packed at once.
Yes, well, this is no idle social call, Lady Bassett. You said I mayn't marry Amelia.
I did.
Why not? Would you tell me that, please?
Oh, I've no wish to hurt your feelings, Mr. Mulliner, but you must admit that you are, after all, a pipsqueak.
I don't even know what a pipsqueak is.
A pipsqueak, Mr. Mulliner, is a man who wouldn't know what to do if faced by a charging rhinoceros. Pray, what would you do, Mr. Mulliner, if faced by a charging rhinoceros?
I'm hardly likely to move in the same social circles as charging rhinoceros. If, however, you wish me to outline my course of action, it would be as follows. I would, first of all, stuff a large headhunter between his jaws, called Pat. Hit him in the eye with Mike, the other headhunter. Drift down the river on the alligator until I dropped off the bridge.
You've obviously picked up some garbled version of one of Lester Mumm's stories, hoping to pass it off as your own, but it won't wash, Mr. Mulliner. There's only one Lester Mumm, and he is the man who is going to marry my daughter, Amelia.
Right. Give me those jewels.
Jewels? What jewels?
I don't know what jewels. They may be the Wingham pearls, or the Bassett diamonds, or the Simpson sapphires. I've been watching you creeping about all night.
Yeah, well, I just been having the odd chat with Lady Bassett about alligators and Amelia and Pat and Mike, that sort of thing. Got nothing to do with jewels.
You sure?
Ah, yes.
Well, if there's anything missing in the morning, I'll know where to come. Hello? Strychnine in the soup. Slingsby's latest, eh? I've been wanting to get hold of this. They say it's good. These gripping pages, Leeds Mercury. Thanks very much.
Hey, look, just a minute. Look.
Well?
Nothing, you know, enjoy it.
Don't worry, I will.
Cyril, what was Lester doing in your room?
He's pinched my belly book, that's what.
I thought you said you left your book on the train.
No, he's pinched the book. I pinched the thief.
Mulliner, you hound, give me that book.
Book? What book?
Just a minute, Mother. Cyril hasn't got your book, but I know who has. Lester Mumm.
Oh, rubbish.
I saw him creeping out of your bedroom, carrying something in a very furtive manner under his arm, and I wondered what it was.
It's impossible. Lester Mumm's incapable of such an act. A man who once strangled a grizzly bear with his old Etonian tie.
Mother, I can prove it to you. He's in the clock room. If we go along there right away, we'll catch him red-handed.
Very well. And if this is true, Amelia, you can consider your engagement with Lester Mumm at an end. So...
Something the matter?
So it was you who stole my book.
Stole your book? I borrowed that from Mulliner there.
Unlikely, Jane. Lady Bassett is well aware that I left mine on the train.
Certainly. And if you think that after this dastardly act you're going to marry my daughter, forget it.
Completely.
Wipe it right out of your mind.
But Lady Bassett, listen.
I will not listen. Come, you two.
But Lady Bassett!
A merciful escape, Lady Bassett. It must be a great relief to you to know that Amelia is going to marry a respectable interior decorator.
Are you under the impression, Mr. Mulliner, that on the strength of what has happened, I intend to accept you as a son-in-law?
Well, don't you?
Certainly not. Amelia! Mr. Mulliner! Mr. Mulliner! Mr. Mulliner, give me that book!
No, I think I intend to read it myself, Lady Bassett. I've had good reports on it on every side.
Made my hair stand on end. Matlock advertiser.
Of course, if it were my future mother-in-law speaking, her word would naturally be law.
Slingsby's greatest triumph. I defy anyone to guess the spine-chilling end. East Sussex Recorder.
Lady Bassett, may I have the honour of asking for your daughter's hand in marriage?
Whatever the sacrifice, get hold of a copy. Keep Argus.
Very well.
There you are, mother-in-law.
Thank you. I couldn't have gone to sleep without this book. I just got to the bit where Inspector Mould is trapped in the underground den of the Headless Horror.
Oh, I say. There isn't a headless horror, is there?
I've heard there are 2 headless horrors.
Oh, well, in that case, mother-in-law, look, I'm sorry, but may I...
I have the book, Mr. Mulliner, and I intend to keep it. What do you propose to do about it?
Well, look, I'm sure we can think of a compromise.
And as the tide rose in the cellar and the ceiling started to descend, the 2 headless horrors drew nearer and nearer.
Thank you.